Okay, this is part 2, and I have this ready, already done. I've done my setup in the center, and I've done a couple of rows, and I'm going to show you what you do in order to even off the jagged edge and make this come to a point, and give you a couple options whether or not you want it to be more full along the outside edge so that your shawl kind of comes up like this, or whether you want it to stay really even. I'll do two different ways of doing it on the side. So I will say that this one I prepared. Oh, I did want to show the difference. I've used, these are both yarn that's relatively thick, and here you can see where I did the smaller gaps because I only chained up five to start a new row, and chained up 2 to go up the sides. And you can see the gaps are not very large on this one. On this one, I've chained 5 to start a new row, and I have also chained up 3, and so the gaps on this one, is going to end up to be, even though they're pretty much the same thickness yarn and the same hook, a size J 6mm, even though those are both the same, you end up with a closer knit, or closer, less drapey fabric. So it's your choice. I just did want to just demonstrate that. And also bring up the fact that if you have done one like this, where you have chained up 5, chained 5 to start a new row, and chained up 2 for the next block, on your final row, it will help to do this ending off row if you switch on that very last row and do chaining. Here, this would be the row. I chained 6, so I have 3 here, 1, 2, 3, and I chained up 3 here, so I have 3 stitches to work with for this peak. It will make it easier if you do that. If you don't do that, it's a lot harder to fit the stitches in. So that caveat for that final row before you do the evening out or whatever. So for this, okay, come on out. Okay, for this you can do either whatever you do to equal a double crochet for this stitch. You can either do your chain up 2 or 3, or you can do your standing double crochet, whatever works for you. And we do it into that stitch, your chain or your standing double crochet, and that is your first stitch. Second, 1, 2, okay. Okay, second is either a double crochet or a half double crochet. It is your choice. You do what you think looks best. Okay. Third one is definitely a half double. And then we're going to do, on this one only, a single crochet. Then when we come down here, we're going to do a double crochet into that slip stitch that joins the blocks, And then whatever you decided to do, whether it was double crochet or two double crochets in a row, or a double crochet and then a half double and then another half double, whichever way you decided to do it, just continue with that. Does not matter which it is, just so you are consistent. And you do that all along the side until you get to the peak. Oops, I needed the double. Now back here I did use the top of the chain, but we don't need to use the top of the chain where we have 4, because we're using that slip stitch. And we're using that slip stitch to close up the gap and make this look nice. So, okay, here's our last one before the peak. Oops, my loop's too big. With a double crochet and another double, half double, and a single. Okay, now, and you can already see here that with making this full along this edge, it is causing this side to bow up, and it will be even more pronounced on a larger shawl. Okay, I'll show you on this side what to do if you don't want it to bow up like that. But down here we've got 1, 2, 3 stitches, the center stitch, and then we have 3 chains if you did the final round the right way. And what I have found is I kind of, it really depends on your yarn, your tension, all sorts of things. So it's only a few stitches, and I experiment with what looks right, and then I rip out if I don't like the way it looks. So I've started here, and I've done a single crochet. This one I'm going to do a half double crochet, and in this one, and I'm not going into the chain space, I'm catching a loop of every one of the stitches. In this one I will do a double crochet. And again, for the center one, you can experiment. You can try it with, and see if you like it, if you just do 1 treble crochet. Or if you're going for that full effect and you want this to look even fuller, you could do 3 trebles, or you could do another single and then a treble and then a double crochet, a treble, and another double. Whatever looks good to you. I'm going to go with what I've got here and just go back down with the opposite of what I did here. So I will do a double, a half double, and a single crochet. Get more yarn here. Okay, on this side I will show you how to do it so that it is not as full, and we are going to instead, we're going to do a double crochet. We're going to do 2 half double crochets together, and then we're going to do a single crochet, and we're going to repeat that all the way down. And if you need to look these up, there's all sorts of videos online on how to half double crochet together, 2 together, and so forth. Whoops, I made that loop too loose. And we are still using the slip stitch here because if we skip that, it leaves a gap that doesn't look good. And then our 2 half double crochets together. And our single crochet. And then in the end, we're going to do the same thing over again. Single crochet. And we're just going to do 1 half double there. And then we're going to do our double crochet. Because that equals 3. And over here we did an extra one because we were doing 4 into each one of these blocks, and this one didn't have 4, it only had 3, so you could do 2 doubles in the, yeah, it probably would have looked better if we'd done 2 doubles in the thing. But let me lay it out, and you can see that this side is even, and it doesn't tend to make the edge of the shawl bow up. So it's your choice what look you want for your shawl. This is the edge that I recommend for the corner-to-corner blanket that I do that starts in the center. I think I call it the inside-out corner-to-corner square. If you're doing that, you really need to keep it from being wavy on the edges by doing 3 along there. It also helps to go down to the next size hook. I did a 6. It helps to go down to a 5.5 or whatever is the next size down from what you used. So that is how to do the evening off of the outside edge of the corner-to-corner triangular shawl.